Good morning, boys and girls. This is lesson 2 of module 3. Make sure you go ahead and write that at the top left. Up here we have the date. Don't just write date, put whatever day it is. That way it'll make it a little bit easier for you to come back and find it later. And our topic today is making equivalent fractions, making fractions that are the same as other fractions. And we have two words here. Some of these you might be familiar with, but I want to just have the definitions there just in case. One is a mixed number. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And a mixed number is a whole number and a proper fraction together, like 1.5 right here. Now down here we have an improper fraction, and that one's pretty easy. It's a fraction where the numerator is greater than the denominator, like 5/4. If we wrote that as a mixed number, it would be 1 and 1/4. We'll talk more about that later. Our learning target is I am able to add fractions with like denominators. And remember, at the end of the lesson, you're going to reflect, are you a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? And really think about this. I know a lot of you are doing really great with this, but it really helps me figure out what you might need help with. And if you really don't understand something, don't just say, I don't get fractions. What don't you get about fractions? Do you not understand the numerator part? Do you not understand the denominator part? Do you not understand how improper fractions and mixed numbers can show the same numbers? What is it you don't get? Why are you a 2? Why are you a 3? Or maybe even why are you a 4? Something like that. But you know what? Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this is our warm-up here. In just a second, I want you to pause and write all these 6 equations down in your notebook. You probably do this on the left side, right underneath the learning target. But I'll show you what we're doing here. So if you'll notice, each of these is blank on the right here. Each of these 6, just like that. What we're doing here is we're coming up with equivalent fractions. Now right here, I notice this is 1/2 equals some amount of fourths. This is 1 part out of 2 is the same thing as how many out of 4? Well, I notice right away that the 4 right here is double the 2. So if I double the 1, I will get 2/4, which is the same as 1/2. Look at these and try and figure, okay, what did they multiply, or what did I multiply 3 by to get 6? And then do the same to the numerator right here. I'll check back in just a second. Right now, pause and write these down and see if you can answer them. Okay, so as we said, 1/2 is the same as 2/4. 1/3 is the same as 2/6. If I double 3 to 6, I will double 1 to 2. Now over here's an interesting one. Again, we're going to double the 3 to the 6, and we have to double the 2 to a 4. 2/3 is the same as 4/6. Here's another interesting one. We have 2/3 equals how many 12ths? Now what do we have to multiply 3 by to get 12? Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, that's 4. So that means we need to multiply 2 times 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. 2/3 is the same as 8/12. To the right, we have 3/4 is the same as how many 16ths? Well, I see 4. You'd have to multiply 4 times 4 to get 16. So 3 times 4 equals 12. 12/16. To the right here, last one, most difficult one in my opinion, we have 5, and over here we have 25ths. What do you have to multiply 5 by to get 25? Well, 5, of course. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's 5 groups of 5, which means we need to multiply 3 by 5, and that is going to be 15. All right, let's go ahead and start the first problem here. So write 1 wherever you have space, probably towards the top right page. We're going to write 1, put a little circle around it. Then draw a number line here. I would use a ruler or an edge of paper, just something to make sure it's real straight. We put arrows on the end of the number line to show that the numbers keep going. This doesn't just stop at 0, and it doesn't just stop at 1. We can go smaller than 0, and we can go larger than 1, so always put arrows there. I want you to put a dash right by 1 and a dash right by 0 to show where we have those. So pause real quick and do that. Okay, now that you have that done, I want you to try and estimate to make 3 units of equal length on your number line, and that's going to look like this. We're going to have a slash right there and a slash around there. See, here we have 1, 2, 3. We just cut this into thirds. This one's about equal, equal, equal. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's, about equal. And underneath, what I want you to do is write 1/3, because that's the first third. And over here we have 2/3, just like that. And to the left we have 0/3, and to the right we have 3/3. You don't have to do it in that order, but just make sure you have these 4 numbers, 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3 written down. I'll pause while you do that. All right, now I've written a problem here, and it's this one. 1/3 plus 1/3 equals what? Now, that may be easy to you, or you may have no idea what you're doing. Either way, here's what we're going to do. I want you to show me it on the number line. And the way I'm going to do that is by drawing arrows from where I start. So we would always start at 0/3, right? So the first arrow that we have is going to go just like this to 1/3, okay? So that's the 1/3, and if we add another third to that, we see we land at 2/3. So 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. Now, at the same time, I want you to think this is an addition number statement right here. 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. How could you say this as a multiplication statement? I want you to pause and see if you can write that there before I show you how. And it's going to look like this. I'll show you. So don't pause yet, excuse me. 2/3 right here. Something times something equals 2/3. Now I want you to pause and see if you can fill in the blanks right here and right here. All right, that's about enough time. Well, up here on the top, we see we had one group of 1/3 and another group of 1/3. That's 2 groups of 1/3 equal to 2/3. So we're just going to write that same thing. 2 groups of 1/3 equals 2/3. Easy enough. There we are. All right, we are ready for the next problem. All right, boys and girls, for this problem, problem 2, I want you to draw another number line just like this with arrows on the end and a dash with 1 and a dash with 0 above it. Then what I want you to do is estimate where you would draw the lines, and go ahead and draw them, to make 8 equal units on this line. I'm going to pause, and I want you to try doing this on your own first. All right, and this is about where your number line should look. If you had a hard time doing that, what I would recommend doing first is first draw your line right here, then cut each section in half again, and then cut each of those sections in half. That's how I did it, because mine looks pretty accurate right here, you'll see. Go ahead and label this. Obviously, we've cut it into 8 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're talking about eighths here. So on this end we have 0/8, and on this end we have 8/8. Make sure yours looks just like that. I will pause and wait. For this problem, what I want you to do is show me 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 1/8 on your number line. And what that's going to look like is, well, you know what? You show me first, and then we'll check in. So try and do this just like we did before with arrows. Show me what it would look like. Okay. This is how we'd start out. So we'd have first the arrow 1, 2, 3 is going to go right here. And underneath what we do is label 3/8, just like that. That's one group of 3/8. And then we're going to jump 3/8 more, which is going to be 1, 2, 3 right here. So let's draw that. Another arrow, 1, 2, 3. Boom, right there. This is at 6/8 now. And we have one more eighth to go. And we're going to wind up landing right here at 7/8. So we see that 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 1/8 equals 7/8. Now this is going to be a little bit trickier, but again, just like last time, what I want you to try doing is turning this into a multiplication statement. Again, the answer is still going to be 7/8, but it's going to look something like this. All right, we're going to have blank times blank plus blank equals 7/8. See if you can put those blanks in right there, and right there. Pause and try to do that. All right, if you put two groups of 3/8 plus 1/8 equals 7/8, you would be correct. Because again, we had two groups of a like number here in 3/8 plus 1/8. We can't just say 3 times, well, any of these. If you said 3 times 3/8, we would wind up with 9/8, and that would be somewhere over here on our number line, which would not be correct. So if you got this, you'd be correct. Let's try something a little bit more interesting. All right, boys and girls, for this problem, problem 2, I want you to draw another number line just like this with arrows on the end and a dash with 1 and a dash with 0 above it. Then what I want you to do is estimate where you would draw the lines, and go ahead and draw them, to make 8 equal. All right, and this is about where your number line should. For this problem, what I want you to do is show me 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 1/8 on your number line. And what that's going to look like is, well, you know what? You show me first, and then we'll check in. So try and do this just like we did before with arrows. Show me what it would look like. Okay, this is how we'd start out. So we'd have first the arrow 1, 2, 3 is going to go right here. And underneath what we do is label 3/8, just like that. That's one group of 3/8. And then we're going to jump 3/8 more, which is going to be 1, 2, 3 right here. So let's draw that. Another arrow, 1, 2, 3. Boom, right there. This is at 6/8 now. All right, if you put two groups of 3/8 plus 1/8 equals 7/8, you would be correct. Because again, we had two groups of a like number here in 3/8 plus 1/8. We can't just say 3 times, well, any of these. If you said 3 times 3/8, we would wind up with 9/8, and that would be somewhere over here on our number line, which would not be correct. So if you got this, you'd be correct. Let's try something a little bit more interesting. Okay, boys and girls, very last thing here, you need to reflect on the learning target, which was I am able to add fractions with like denominators. And we did see a mixed number. We saw 6/2. We didn't see an improper fraction like 1 1/4. So, we may see that on the problem set, though, and I'm more than happy to help you with that. But go ahead and reflect. As for me, I think I am probably a 4. And that's because I know it so well I can teach it. So I will check in on your notes here shortly. Have a good day.